YouTube, us it going. The Goat House is back. Today, I'm ranking the top 10 NFL pass defenses heading into the 2021 season. This is a tough one. Tough to narrow it down to 10. There's so many good ones. I'm going to talk about teams that feel top 10 worthy, just missed the cut. So we'll talk about quite a few teams here, but I'm going to rank them. This is based off pass rush, looking at it from the edge, from the interior, blitz, and then coverage from the entire secondary, corners, safeties, and then from the linebacker unit as well. So all of that goes into pass defenses. In my opinion, it depends on the scheme, but I value pass rush the most out of the different categories there. So we'll rank these teams based on how I think they'll play this upcoming season. I'm going to rank every defense from 32 to 1 next video, so I'm really excited about that. We did the same types of videos for offense, so check it out. All kinds of NFL content, plenty in season. Hopefully you join us for that. Like, subscribe, make sure you follow our Twitter. We're discussing these things on Twitter, constant NFL news, preseason predictions on there, a lot going on. Link down below, check it out. So teams that feel like top 10 pass defenses, but just I had to pick 10. You asked me like who the top 10 defenses in terms of pass defense. I want to list more than 10 teams. I really do, but I had to narrow it down. The Browns, weak in this category last year, but that is last year. This is this year. I think they'll be entering this conversation. They really built the secondary up, adding John Johnson in the safety department, adding Greg Newsome, the draft pick, adding Troy Hill for the slot corner position. Really helps this group. They also have a solid pass rush, mainly Myles Garrett carrying the group. If Clowney stays healthy, then maybe not so much, and Garrett has to carry. But interior pressure, you kind of worry about a little bit. Will the linebackers pick it up in terms of coverage, and will they be involved in any sort of blitz? So can they go from the bottom portion of the NFL towards the top? I think they're borderline right there, and they're building. It's smart. They built it to compete with the Chiefs, with the Bills, those teams that can really air the ball out there. So it's exciting. It's exciting for the Browns. Chargers next. They're always in this range, it feels like. Now they have Brandon Staley, got Derwin James back. Corner position, I think Asante Samuel Jr. is a great fit. I think he can be a playmaker year one. He'll have his rookie moments. That's how it goes for corners. Takes him a little bit to develop. It's almost like the quarterback position. The quarterback position is really changing. Young guys are really stepping up. Herbert's an example. So corners, there are stronger groups out there. It helps that they have Derwin James back, in the secondary. I don't think we'll get much, great coverage looks from the linebacker unit, but they probably have that blitzing factor. I think they'll use Kenneth Murray a bit in terms of blitzing. In terms of pass rush, a little bit of a question. We know we got Joey Bosa in there. Who else will contribute in big ways? You got guys that can contribute here and there. Will they be consistent? Thinking about Nwosu, thinking about Jerry Tillery. Does he get going from the defensive line? So some question marks there, but there's a lot to like. The Saints, usually top 10 in this category. You do worry about the cornerback position. One side of it at least seems like they're kind of in a panic trying to get that together to find out who's going to play out there. Lattimore's been pretty consistent for them. Contract year, if we see him on the field. I'm not worried about the safety group. Safety group's fantastic there in this department with Jenkins and Marcus Williams. Marcus Williams, more of that coverage safety. They have pass rush. How much of it? Cam Jordan's still very consistent. Maybe not as good as he was a few years ago, but still very solid. Will Marcus Davenport step up? Will we see Peyton Turner step up year one? So that's kind of the question there for them. In the interior, you really worry about interior pressure as well. So it feels like Cam Jordan's kind of carrying that group a little bit. You do get blitz in coverage from the linebacker position, mainly from one guy, but very good one in Demario Davis. So they get a bit of everything there. I just don't think as good as they have been here. Giants secondary is loaded. They get pass rush from their actual defensive line. They're lacking pass rush from the edge group there. Maybe a year one guy like Azeez Ojulari. I love that pick. Maybe he steps up and helps in that category because they've been lacking in that department for a bit. Remember Leonard Williams from the defensive line, 3-4 end. Off-ball linebacker mainly helps in the tackling department, guys like Blake Martinez, so that doesn't really factor into this. The Bills, secondary looks great. Safety group looks great. Kind of lacking in one cornerback position. The cornerback play wasn't as good as last year's the past. Don't get too much coverage or blitzing effect from their linebackers, even though they're overall solid linebackers, obviously. Pass rush has been a little disappointing, but I think it picks it up this year, so where they kind of enter that top 10 because looking at, that three-headed monster out there with Poyer, Hyde, and Tre'Davious White, of course, and that looks pretty damn good in that department. Eagles, maybe a little bit surprising one, but that pass rush is so damn nasty, and pass rush is the most valuable of the group there, so you got to throw the Eagles up there because of the pass rush. What's weighing them down is everything else in the pass, but they improved it, adding Anthony Harris along with Darius Slay, who's in that secondary it was his first year with the Eagles last year. And the linebacker unit gets a little better there with adding a guy like Eric Wilson. So it's a team to look out for. Just the front, the actual front, the pass rush kind of carrying that group a little bit. But out of the top 10, number 10, I'm going to have the Miami Dolphins. I like their secondary a lot. Big-time cornerback duo, obviously. Safeties, there was room for improvement from the safeties. But then they get that with the guy like Javon Holland. Kind of a do-it-all guy. Can play free, can play strong, can play in the slot. You'll see him at free a bit. Linebackers, last year they blitzed a bit. They actually blitzed. I think it's going to look a little different this year, this defense. I think a little less blitzing, and they're going to try to generate that pass rush straight from their edge rushers. They had Jalen Phillips. That's big time. Will Ugba kind of have a surprising season? Was that a fluke thing? Will we see that again? Will we get interior pressure from this group? So there's some question marks. It's mainly the secondary. The addition of Phillips definitely helps. Number 9 is going to be the Patriots. Such a good one for number 9. This feels like one that could really be number 1. Just a couple years ago, it felt like they were number 1. Gilmore played at a ridiculous level that year. Maybe he won't play that crazy elite high of a level, but he shouldn't be too far off. Will he play, though? I guess that's the question because we haven't seen him yet. J.C. Jackson's a playmaker on the opposite side. I don't think the safety group is as good as it was a couple years ago. McCourty's kind of declined a little bit, still solid. And who are we going to see at the other spot? Patrick Chung was playing some pretty good ball a couple years ago when they were number 1 pass defense. But the pass rush has definitely improved, from last year. Definitely improved. Adding a guy like Matthew Judon. And there's a mixture of guys developing, getting better. They added the defensive line, Barmore, that helps for sure. So definitely an upgrade from where they were last year. So I got them at 9. A pretty balanced group too. 8, I'm going to go 49ers, hoping that they look a little more like 2 years ago when they were right there with the Patriots for the number 1 pass defense. I thought it was mainly because of their pass rush, and coverage from everyone else as well. They all played well, but the pass rush resulted in everyone else's job being made easier. I think we can see something similar to that this year. That pass rush healthy again, looks pretty good. It's just about Bosa and Ford mainly staying healthy, but you get coverage from a guy like Fred Warner in the linebacker department, and they got a pretty balanced secondary. I worry about it a little bit. It's not the strength of the group. I don't really worry about it in terms of talent. I guess I have more of health. But it's not the strength of the group. It's really on the front seven and their pass rush productivity there. But I got them at 8. Very good one here. Hoping that they look a little more like 2 seasons ago. 7, I'm going to go the Packers. I love the secondary. Secondary's got one of the best corners in football in Jair Alexander. Safety duo is fantastic with Darnell Savage as a playmaker and Adrian Amos, a fine, strong safety. Who will start at the other cornerback position, Kevin King or Eric Stokes? That could decide a lot with the secondary as a whole. You don't really get much blitz or coverage factor from their linebacker, off-the-ball linebacker group. You do get some pretty good pass rush from guys like Zadarius Smith and Kenny Clark. Will Zadarius Smith have to carry that edge group like he did last year? 2 years ago, he didn't have to carry it. It was kind of a team effort there from that position. So hopefully Preston Smith or Rashawn can step up, or Rashawn Gary can continue to develop here. But I really love this secondary, some beasts back there. And then having Zadarius Smith, Kenny Clark, some studs definitely helps as well. 6, I'm going to go with the Ravens. The Ravens, an interesting one, definitely different than the rest of the bunch. I value pass rush the most, but the Ravens, their defense is built where the cornerback position is the most important position on the field, and they got the best duo in football in Marlon Humphrey, who's actually getting better still, believe it or not, and Marcus Peters, who's been one of the best playmakers the last several years, many years. Safety group could be better, but I think they are getting better. Young group, Elliott, Clark, it's a young group. They use them differently than other teams. A lot of cover zero more than any other team. So those guys will play a different role than your typical safety. But they're kind of banking on them stepping up. You get some pass rush from the actual defensive line. Calais Campbell kind of leads the way there. Where they're lacking is the edge rush. They do add Justin Houston recently, though, so that helps. But they actually get most of their pass rush from the blitz. It's a very smart, good blitzing team, and Patrick Queen is kind of that star blitzer to look out for this year. So, compared to the other teams on this list, they're probably not as high in terms of edge rush, but they have the defensive line, the interior defensive line rush, and they kind of win it all back with that blitz factor, and that is why the Ravens are as high as 6 here. 5, I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Pass rush is great. Shaq Barrett, Jason Pierre-Paul. They add Joe Tryon, who's looking pretty good. And you got to get creative with that group. I've been talking about it since they drafted him because Tryon had some reps kind of as an off-the-ball type guy at Washington at times where he dropped back in coverage. So you get creative with that as well. And JPP has reps not only playing edge but playing on the defensive line more like a 3-4 end. So you can get super creative on top of what you already have. So that's fantastic. Ndamukong Suh gets some pressure. Golston gets some pressure. You look at the inside linebacker group. Levante David's excellent in coverage. Devin White has his big-time playmaking plays in coverage, but he also can get in the backfield, blitz if he needs to. The secondary, very young and getting a lot better. We saw the steps those corners took last year, big-time steps, and the safeties really grew, especially getting to the playoffs. It was a night and day difference from early in the year when they were letting up quite a bit of yards to the air till late in the year, playoffs, Super Bowl. Huge difference because they were still growing with each other and they're still developing as young players. I guess the negative here, you got to find something, not much of it. I think teams, there was some times where they would play a little too far off the ball, and teams would kind of pick apart the 5 to 7 yards, maybe less, 3 to 7 yards range in the passing game. So that would be the way to beat them. We see how strong they were against the Chiefs. They were able to eliminate that specialty of the Chiefs, the deep ball. So they're fine in that department. But it feels like that secondary is growing. But it's the front seven that is just, wow. It's a wow front seven there for sure. Number 4, this is where it gets real tight. I'm going to go with the Broncos at 4. I really love this secondary, what they did to it. They had Kyle Fuller. They had Patrick Surtain. They had Darby, too. We'll see how much of him we see because they have Callahan in the slot. But Surtain, I think, is a pretty pro-ready corner, even though it's rare to see pro-ready corners. I think about as close as pro-ready as you can get, meaning impact right away. Seen him had a big first preseason game already, and Kyle Fuller is a fantastic corner as well. And then the safety group, Justin Simmons, debatably the best free safety in football, and Kareem Jackson, solid in terms of pass game. He's, I think where he really thrives is kind of being around the box, attacking, plays the ball in the backfield. So it's a really good secondary in terms of coverage. Obviously, health was the concern last year. That's kind of where my concern is now because that front seven, the pass rush looks really good too. But it's mainly what Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. Interior defensive line is solid. It's solid. I don't think it would be in terms of interior pass pressure, pass rush will be as good as it was in the past. It's solid. It's just nothing wow. But the edge rush really makes it with Von Miller, Bradley Chubb. Will those guys stay healthy? That is the big question. A.J. Johnson gets some flashes in coverage. Not a whole bunch of eye-popping things from the linebackers in this category, but those 2 edge rushers in the secondary is what puts them in this kind of the elite category in the top 4. Will they stay healthy? That is the big question. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Steelers. The front seven it's eye-popping front seven. It's possibly the best in football. They get the pressure on the quarterback. They are missing Bud Dupree, who was a very significant player for them last year. But Alex Highsmith's a guy that could step up. Remember, they added Melvin Ingram, who's kind of that Bud Dupree type player. That's why they went out and got him. He can move around and rush from different spots. The quarterback, the offensive line got to be focused on him. Where's he lining up? So that was big time there. Having T.J. Watt, Stephon Tuitt, Cam Hayward. They have the pass rush. They're top tier elite, possibly number 1 in terms of the pass rush. Devin Bush could blitz. Then you get into the coverage. They had Joe Schobert. That helps for sure. He can cover in terms of a linebacker. You get in the secondary, though. You got this big piece of Minkah Fitzpatrick that kind of holds it together. Joe Hayden's solid. He's declining a little bit. The opposite corner spot is going to be Sutton, who's played a little bit of slot, played a little bit of safety in his career. You're pretty weak on, if he's playing outside. And then Terrell Edmonds I have not been thrilled with. So it does feel like Minkah Fitzpatrick carries that secondary a bit. Front seven so good that it feels like it's right there, number 1. But the difference between number 1 and number 2, who I have there, that secondary of the Steelers, minus Minkah Fitzpatrick. Hayden's solid. The rest kind of weighs it down a little bit. Number 2, I'm going to go with the Rams. Having that interior pressure, it's a game changer. And the best in football, and Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd off the edge. They got a couple other pieces, sleeper pieces in terms of who can be that other edge rusher there on the opposite side. And they can be creative with their blitzes as well. We'll see how it is with Staley gone. But then you have that secondary is absolutely loaded. Jalen Ramsey, the best in football. It definitely helps they have the best in football at Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. But Darius Williams very solid on the opposite side at the corner position. You look at the safety group. You got a number of guys here. Taylor Rapp's going to step up. Jordan Fuller's been looking pretty solid. And Terrell Burgess, who can play slot and at the safety position. So it feels like they're actually loaded in that category. But having those stars really helps. And being top tier last year, I think they can kind of carry over here. The number one for me is going to be the Washington football team. You look at the pass rush. It's top tier. We talk about the Steelers' pass rush as a unit. They're pretty much matching each other. Chase Young, I think, is going to be insane this year. I think everyone thinks that. And then you look at Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Matt Ioannidis from the inside. Montez Sweat, opposite of Chase Young, is just growing, getting better. And then you look back at the secondary. They really improved the secondary. Adding William Jackson, he was getting to the prime of his career. That's right around corner prime, and now playing with a much better defense as well. Kendall Fuller had a career year last year. Then they get Landon Collins back, and even if he's kind of more of involved in the run game in the box, you have Cameron Curl, Bobby McCain. List goes on back there. So they're pretty damn balanced if you look at that. But then you factor in the linebacker unit. They didn't blitz a whole bunch, but they do have Cole Holcomb in their back pocket, a pretty good blitzer. But you look at Jamin Davis, who was excellent in coverage last year. That's really where he improved his game because he had the instincts and the athletic ability to add him for some coverage at the linebacker position. He might be in, we'll see how they use Landon Collins. I think they can use him kind of as a rover type player, but Jamin Davis might be covering more than Landon Collins in some games. That'll be interesting. But they got kind of everything. They got elite pass rush, but which is the most important in my opinion, especially when it comes to this scheme, this Ron Rivera defense. But they have literally everything out there. So a lot of expectations on the Washington football team defense. So a lot of these were so tight, but I was pretty firm on Washington being one. A lot of good ones out there, so I'm really excited. That's where the game's going. There's so many dominant passing attacks that these teams are really growing in terms of their pass defenses for that reason. So, really excited about the season, see how these defenses play. I'm going to rank every single defense 32-1. I did the same exact video for offenses, and this is all kind of predicting this upcoming season. All kinds of these rankings, predictions on the channel, a lot more to come with weekly picks, weekly score predictions, power rankings every week, and a lot more. So join us for all that. Like, subscribe. Make sure you follow that Twitter. Very, very important. Link down below, description, comments. But that's going to do it for this one. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Goodbye.